oil.
Well, what happened was I started a relationship because I wrote a letter to Metal Maniacs, which was a big metal magazine that was in every magazine shop, every bookstore. It was a big magazine. And I wrote a letter into them, and they printed it. And basically it was me ranting about how all my favorite bands were getting dropped from the label.
Yeah.
Which were Pestilence, Atrocity, Gorguts, Annihilator, Malevolent Creation. Roadrunner just decided in 1993, the end of 1993, Immolation, Cynic, all these bands are done. We're not doing them anymore. Which meant back then, before the internet, when a label dropped a band, it meant this band doesn't sell. So the chances of that band getting another deal with the reputation of not being marketable were slim. So it pretty much was like getting dropped from a record company back then was pretty much, you're done.
Yeah.
So when all my favorite bands that were active got dropped because they were making money, they just weren't raking it in, you know?
Right.
I wrote this nasty letter saying we're dropping all these great bands and replacing them with shitty bands. And that started my relationship with Monte Connor, who's the vice president who was the vice president of A&R at Roadrunner. And he wrote me this 6-page handwritten letter explaining each circumstance of each band. When Malevolent Creation, their singer was an alcoholic and blah, blah, blah. And Immolation, we tried to get them to do a new record, but they refused. They're not doing one. They're not working on one. Pestilence changed their sound too much. You know, he gave all this stuff. And I wrote back, and it went back and forth for a long time until we realized that we were being cordial.
Yeah.
Eventually. Like, I became interested in what he was saying, and then he was interested in what I was saying, and we went back and forth, and we still do that to this day on email and Facebook. He'll say something, and I'll say, are you kidding me? This is what happened, blah, 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 blah. We still do that.
Yeah.
So I got a relationship with him. I sent him, I didn't have any new material because this end up was broken up, and he already said Foreign Objects was really cool, but it just wasn't in style. It wasn't going to sell anything.
Yeah.
And he was right. I mean, you know. So now that I had this connection in the music industry, like this straight connection, it wasn't like there was a middleman or anything. It was like me to him.
Yeah.
You know, we rushed this commercial, updated modern metal that was in at the time, like bands like Pantera and Machine Head and Prong, bands like that. We tried to sound like that. Now, when I try to do something that I don't like musically, it does not turn out right. Monte Connor flat out told me, this is what you have to do to get signed. You have to make up music that you might not like, but that's fashionable at the time. Basically, he was saying, do your best within your talents to mold what you do into what sells.
Right.
Well, I was so, pretty much obsessed with early 90s death metal, the technical stuff.
Yeah.
That when I tried to do something simple, I was sick, I had the flu, I tried to sing on it. It just turned out so bad. And we planned a trip to New York because April wanted us to go to Berklee Music College. We made this crappy tape known as the Lifeline demo, and some kids like it. I don't know why, but it sounds terrible. And I'll never forget, on the way to Berklee, we stopped at the New York City office at Roadrunner, and I played it for him, and he shut it off. Like,
Jesus.
First he turned it down, and I was like, turn it up so you can hear it. He's like, no, they don't let us play music loud in here. And it was
You're full of shit.
I was like, okay. I thought that we had something.
Yeah.
But he flat out said, you can't sing. And you can't do everything in a band. It's just the two of you.
Right.
This is not a band. You're trying to sing. You're trying to do everything. Why would I want to work with this? And he was so straight up with it that it was like devastating. But it also made me think, you're telling me I can't fucking sing and I never will be able to?
So it like motivated you in a way.
Right.
Yeah.